Dwayne, "The Rock" Johnson, was out for a regular morning walk in the streets of Los Angeles. But that day, he had no idea he was about to face something that would change his life forever. As he turned a corner, he saw a little girl, shaking and crying, all alone. Right at that moment, Johnson felt a deep pain in his heart. But who was this girl? Why was she all by herself? And what made Johnson take that life-changing decision? Moving through the crowd, he approached the girl who was sitting on the ground, holding a crumpled piece of paper in her hand. He couldn't see what was written on it, but that note would change everything. Johnson knelt down gently and asked, "Sweetheart, are you okay? Can you hear me?" The girl looked up with scared eyes. But it wasn't just fear. There was something else in her eyes. Hopelessness. A kind of hopelessness that no child should ever have. But the real question was, what was written on that piece of paper in her hand? And why was someone as famous as Dwayne Johnson passing by that spot on that exact day? The answers to these questions would mark a turning point in Johnson's life. Johnson sat next to the girl. "What's your name, sweetie?" he asked. Through tears, she whispered, "Emily." Johnson spoke softly. "Emily, why are you here? Where's your mom or dad?" But Emily's answer shocked Dwayne Johnson to his core. In a tiny, broken voice, she said, "Mom, she left. She left me." Those words shattered Johnson's heart, but the most shocking part was the note in Emily's hand. Johnson carefully reached out. "Can I read this?" he asked. Emily hesitated, but handed it over. When Johnson opened the paper, his eyes filled with tears. It read, "Please take care of this girl. I can't go on anymore. I'm sorry." Johnson took a deep breath. That was the moment he made up his mind. This girl's life was about to change. But how? And what extraordinary steps would Johnson take to help this desperate child? Johnson quickly pulled out his phone. "Don't worry, Emily, you're not alone anymore," he said. But those words were just the beginning, because the journey Johnson was about to start would change not only Emily's life, but also his own. But how? And what dark secret was hidden in the little girl's past? Minutes later, a black SUV pulled up. Johnson carried Emily into the car. "I'm taking you somewhere safe," he said. But during the drive, what Emily shared made Johnson's eyes well up again. She had spent the last few days on the streets. Her mother had left her because she couldn't afford to care for her anymore. And her father? When Johnson asked about him, Emily looked down and whispered, "My dad. He was a bad man. He hurt us." Those words hit Johnson even harder. But there was more to the story. What had happened to Emily's mom? And what kind of future could Johnson offer this little girl? When they arrived at the hotel, the staff quickly jumped into action. Johnson arranged a warm bath for Emily. "You're safe now," he told her. But the fear in Emily's eyes hadn't gone away. Johnson realized that this little girl needed more than just food and shelter. She needed healing. But how could he truly help her? The first thing he did was call his lawyer. "We need to take care of this girl's legal situation," he said. But the lawyer responded with a warning. "Dwayne, this could take a long time. Are you sure?" Johnson's answer was firm. "This girl is my responsibility now. We'll do whatever it takes." But another question arose. Where was Emily's mother? And would her father come looking for her? Johnson was determined to find out. But as he was making calls, Emily hugged him tightly and whispered, "Thank you." In that moment, everything became clear for Johnson. There was no turning back. This girl was now part of his family. But what challenges were waiting for them in the days to come? In the following days, Johnson hired private investigators to search for Emily's mother. When they found her, the news was heartbreaking. She was in the hospital, and her condition was critical. Johnson rushed to see her. Her final words were, "Please, take care of my daughter." That day, Johnson made a promise. "Emily will be my daughter now." That decision changed Johnson's life forever. But Emily's father was still out there. And one day, an unexpected phone call came. Her father had been released. Johnson immediately increased security. Would this man find them? And if he did, could Johnson protect Emily? Day by day, Johnson and Emily grew closer. Emily started smiling again. But that fear still lingered. And one night, there was a knock on the door. Who was it? Had her father found them? That question made Johnson's heart race. When he opened the door, it was a police officer. "Mr. Johnson, Emily's father has been arrested. You're safe now." Johnson took a deep breath. It was over, or was it really? In the months that followed, Johnson officially adopted Emily. She was now his daughter. And years later, that little girl looked up at him and said, "Dad, when you saved me that day, you didn't just save my life, you saved my dreams." Dwayne Johnson didn't just change a child's life that day. He opened a whole new chapter in his own life. And maybe most importantly, he reminded all of us. Sometimes changing a life starts with a single step, but taking that step, it takes courage. Dwayne Johnson showed that courage. And today, Emily is growing up safe and happy because one man decided to reach out and hold her hand. And that is the power of kindness. Sometimes one small act can create ripples that touch not just one life, but generations. Who knows? Maybe the next time you see someone in need, you'll remember this story. And you'll take that step too. This brings us to the end of this story. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends too. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories. Have a nice day.